Masood, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Doing actually great. Enjoying my recovery. Was in addiction for 23 years, so I'm just enjoying every 24 hours I get sober.
That's beautiful. What area are you from, by the way?
From Newfields.
Newfields, Athlone. Right?
Yeah, 7764.
Yeah, of course. All right. So Dimensions SA, who I continue also situated in Athlone, so that is how we actually got in contact. And also, I am aware that there's certain things about your life that you can't really delve into, and we all have that. Is that okay?
I'm cool, 100%.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So first things first. What I want to know is, with addiction, according to you, just a little bit of background. Where did it all start?
I think it started with friends. I was recruited to being one of the popular kids, and then, majority of popular kids on school, they do certain stuff, smoke their weed, because they're cool guys, and that's where it started.
All right. So you said recruited. What do you mean by recruited?
I wasn't really interested in being one of the popular kids, but they would call me to play with them and stuff. I'm talking like very early playground, primary school. Because I attracted a certain group of people, and I just fell into things.
Okay. So it's a little bit. So it sounds a little bit different to what I'm used to. Normally, like if I look at myself, I would say I was attracted to that type of lifestyle, the cool kids, and yet you say you were actually recruited. So it sounds like it can happen in any way, right?
There's lots of different
I'm
ones.
gonna guess, was it the elder kids?
Some of them older, a lot of them not older. I started to move with the older kids once I learned what drugs was all about, and because they had the access to it. Because the younger kids, they didn't really have access to it. So majority of my friends then ended up being 4 to 5 years older than me, sometimes 6, 7 even.
Yeah, and how old were you at this point in your life when you got introduced to these friends at school?
Primary school basically, because it was my brother's older friends.
Wow.
So by the age of 13, I started smoking weed with him, and from there just progressed.
Okay. And then it's kind of different. So I would ask you then, what influenced you? What made you make these decisions to actually follow them or do what these kids were doing?
If they were 5 years older than me and I was 13, so obviously they were like matric already, and girls maybe. That was like the trend at the time. It was Mandrax and crack cocaine, stuff like that, rocks on the Cape Flats.
Okay.
So I looked up to my older brother. So obviously I looked up to his friends. So they would sneak me with them in silent. And by the time my older brother found out, it was too late.
Okay. So also you were very young. And what I am aware of that there's certain influences are also out there that can be more external. Do you think things like music, media, whether it's movies, I don't know what was happening at your age at that time, but I definitely had an influence on me. How do you feel about that?
Music, definitely. At that time, the music was the rave scene. So that's how I got into the ecstasy, the LSD, and that eventually progressed to heroin.
Okay, so sounds like heroin was your, what do they call it, your DOC, your drug of
Definitely
choice.
was. I was addicted to heroin for 23 years. I was a
Wow.
full-blown heroin addict by the time I was 15.
Oh,
And only recently got rid of it, because for me it's 24 hours all the time. So it will stay recent. That's what keeps me fresh in my recovery.
thank you for sharing that, Masood. Your age again? Not sure if I caught that.
Will be 38 next month.
Okay, and you said about 20 odd years now in addiction.
Yes.
Right, then I also wanted to ask you your first experience. If we can rewind time, I don't know if you can go back and just go back to that first experience with drugs. How was that for you? Because I'm pretty sure there's many people out there that would love to know.
I started off with the weed. The first time I smoked weed, I never really felt anything, I can say. But I was very hungry when I got home. And for me, it was just a cool experience being with the older guys. They allowing me to smoke a bochi with them and stuff like that. Then they introduced me to the different music, like I say, the rave scene and stuff. Then I started to go to the older kids that were more on the rave scene, not on Mandrax and stuff. Started to get into the ecstasy and the LSD and all those types of things.
Okay, okay. And you enjoyed it?
It was
Was it
fun.
fun? It was fun.
If I'm gonna sit here and tell you I didn't have fun times, then I would be lying, because when
Yeah.
in the beginning all it was fun. I had some of the best experience in my life, I can say.
Yeah. How long did that fun last, though?
Until I reached 15 and I became a full-blown heroin addict, and I started to, lose the faith and support of family slowly and things like that. They started to become more aware of my drugging,
Yeah.
which, it decreases the money you get from them and stuff. And so you had to start in hustle on the street, get into different types of things, that led me eventually to the prison system. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you're skipping a lot, and maybe just a few, milestones is rather a positive word, but major parts in your addictive or in your addiction. What was the points that you think that led you to progress, and maybe just a little bit about your rock bottom, slightly. So obviously, for me personally, I used to steal as an addict to support the habit. I don't know about you, so maybe you can let me know where it started, where it led to, where you ended up, and
it started, to be honest with you, stealing from the family, stole from my uncle. From there, it progressed to armed robbery, hijacking, housebreaking, anything that was there, shoplifting with syndicates, whatever crime was available, whatever group was doing things to get the most money, that's where I was, because I wanted to do it on a large scale.
okay. And then rock bottom. How did it lead to rock bottom? Because it doesn't last, right?
No, it doesn't. Rock bottom, I say, started when I realized I stood in a courtroom and I never got bail anymore, because it's pending further investigation and stuff like that. So once I realized every time I want to see the courtroom, I'm going to have to go to Portsmouth first. That was a bit of an eye opener. Then started with spiking the heroin, progressed from smoking to spiking. Then people would be looking for me because I would be gone for months at a time, be on the street. Not ended up in hospital with severe colon infection and stuff. So it was affecting my health. It was just affecting my daily living to a point where I realized this is not where I come from. And I thought that would be strong enough to get me out, but obviously it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah. So what I want to do, I want to tap into, or actually go into more detail about that darker area side of your life. Just a little bit of what rock bottom really was. What was the struggle? How much pain you went through? Different types of things that you personally experienced. Because I believe there is at least one person out there that can, listen to this and relate.
Surprisingly enough, rock bottom for me wasn't even the streets. It wasn't prison. It was more of the emotional trap that I was in, the mental trap I was in, when I realized that it doesn't matter how much money I have in my pocket or how good I might be looking because I could buy me new clothes. Or I still had to bow down, go to the merchant every day, buy me a quarter just to feel like the average person I see walking on the street. And when I realized how enslaved and actually felt how enslaved I was, that was my rock bottom.
So it was more of a mental prison, you believe?
Mental prison, physical prison, because if you don't use, you can't even function properly. You don't even want to brush your teeth. You don't even want to wash all you do is put on your clothing, get your needles, and you want to get out and get your first fix. Once you get your first fix, you forget about everything else. You detach from everybody around you. So it's a very lonely road, shall I say.
I understand that as well, and thank you for sharing so much about that. What we can do, we can go into more detail about that for people out there if they want to. Just comment, let us know what your questions are for Masudia as well. I'm sure you would love to share. And I mean, we know he wants to help as well, so he will definitely do so. Right?
That's why I'm doing this. It's there to help other people, parents, to make them even aware. Maybe they can get it before the time and the kids don't have to go down the road I went down.
Beautiful. So let's move over to recovery. All right. So one of the first things I personally know is that, or through my journey of recovery, is that majority of the people go through many institutions, whether it be rehab. Some people go to jail, and that is a rehabilitation type of thing for them as well. But no, I'm not going to go into detail. What I want to hear is from Masood's side. So Masood, how many times have you been to rehab? And tell us a little bit more about that as well.
To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure exactly how much times. Definitely more than 5. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. I thought I was maybe ready. Sometimes it was due to family and stuff, to get those benefits back from the family,
Yeah.
get people on your side. But it's been definitely more than 5.
Okay, okay. And if you look back to the first times, why was there? I'm not going to say failure. Let's just be more specific. Why was there relapses?
I guess I wasn't really ready.
Okay.
I might have thought I would be ready because it was more that time a need to do and not a want to do.
Okay, I see. I see. So sometimes the situation just forces you to go to
Yeah,
rehabilitation. Okay,
That's it.
I've
Exactly.
experienced that. So it didn't come from you from deep inside. Basically,
Not really.
it's a decision. All right, all right. So talking about the journey of recovery for an individual, I do know that each one is very different from the next. At least that's what we believe here at Dimensions SA, is that your journey is very specific to yourself. We cannot look at one person and try to tell you what to do. You need to figure it out. As you heard from what Masood said, there's different phases that you go through, whether it's rehabilitation attempt number 1 or number 10. You are learning things as you go through, and it's important to actually take note of these things. So if we fast forward time, Masood, and we look at where you're at now, you can let us in on a little bit of how long you are clean. What do you feel is different, or what have you realized at this point is different compared to previous attempts?
Um, what's different this time is I actually learned to love myself. Actually learned to love being clean, not making it this major task that is so difficult every day. Not to say it doesn't come with its challenges, but I've learned to handle those challenges much better. I think because of my desperation of wanting a better self, of really wanting my recovery. It wasn't easy. I went to Stickland Detox. When I came out, I still had a few relapses, which made me make a decision that I need time away. So I went into inpatient program for a month, came out of inpatient program, and from that I've just worked.
When you say work it, what do you mean?
Um,
What have you been working? What have you been doing?
you have to be aware of yourself. You have to
Okay.
be aware of what caused you other times to relapse and work on those things. Start to strengthen yourself. And it's a lot about self will. Nobody can drill it into you. You can learn whatever you want to in a rehab, but if you are not going to apply it in your own life, and everybody's journey is different, so some things will affect me that won't affect others. So you need to basically discover yourself.
Yeah. How long are you clean for now?
I just counted 24 hours, but it's about 2 months.
2 months, excellent. And what I'm aware of, I mean, I personally know what's happening in Masood's life currently right now. So nothing external outside of you has changed since you've came out of rehab. Everything, I think the change lies within.
The change lies within yourself.
So, yeah. So how are you dealing with what's different, or what you are facing outside? Maybe let the people in on what it is exactly that you are facing, because I do know this can really change a lot of people's hearts or minds out there as well.
What I am facing is I had to go back to the same environment. The environment that I live in, the room next door, I'm still hearing people getting up, going to a merchant, talking about hits and foil and all the corrupt things. It's like literally 10 steps away. Literally 10 steps away if I want to relapse. So what I needed to do was make the decision that I no longer
Wow.
use drugs. So drugs will always be around me because the world hasn't changed. I've changed.
Nice, 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 nice. Masood, you are really an inspiration to myself, and I'm sure to many others out there who are watching this episode. Like the video, share the love. Let's help change lives. Anything that you'd like the people to know before we say goodbye?
For you guys out there, parents, family, the addicts still struggling there, just love. They have a problem that they maybe themselves don't understand. This thing is so powerful. It will rob them of everything. So if there is family out there that still loves an addict, try and find out where he is. There is help out there.
Awesome. I love what you just said now. It's a journey basically, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Journey
Definitely.
to recovery, and don't give up. Yeah, but contact us for more information. That is exactly what we do. We try and help every single soul. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.